Yes, folks, it's Tales from the Jails with John G. Sutton. That's me, by the way. And do please like and subscribe, if you would. Be so kind. Just a clickety-click down there. Also, comments. I like your comments. Do you want to ask questions, make requests, insult me? Go for it. I'm a happy guy. I'm going to talk today about a guy who was hung at Strangeways jail. His name was William Dukes. And William Dukes, I'll tell you the story now. It's a sad story indeed. Yeah, William Dukes was aged 28 years of age, and he was a shop manager. He managed a shop on Bolton Street in the town of Bury, which is just a little north of Manchester, past Whitefield to Bury. That's the area, you know. Google it and have a look. Bolton Street is still there, and the shop was at number 39 Bolton Street, Bury, and it was a furniture shop, and it was owned by a man called George Gordon. George Gordon had for some time suspected that there was something wrong with the way that the accounts were being kept at the shop, and he decided he was going to go and check the accounts. But William Dukes kept sending him on, or kept presenting fake customers that required George Gordon to go and visit for the provision of specifically made furniture. And of course, they were absolute nonsense, wild goose chases, basically designed to keep George Gordon away from the shop in Bury. Anyway, he did finally get to the shop in Bury, and when he got there, George Gordon found that William Dukes, the manager, was not in the store. He was actually in the boozer down the road, and he eventually arrived about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and Mr. Gordon, who owned the store, was absolutely furious with him and said, the store's in a right state, I want to check the books. But the thing was, the day that he arrived, it was the day of the eve of Jewish New Year, and George Gordon, being Jewish, was going to go and spend it with his family in Manchester, which is where he lived, because the main store was in Manchester. The store at Bury was like just an offshoot. He had a number of these, one at Burnley as well, I believe. So basically what happened here, George Gordon started to examine the books, and that was the last time he was seen. 2 days went past, Jewish New Year came and went, and the following day, turned up at the store was the brother of George Gordon, Mayor Gordon, and he was demanding from William Dukes, "Where is my brother?" And he invented some story about him going to visit the shop in Burnley, which was not going to be happening because the store in Burnley had closed for Jewish New Year, as it was run by a member of the family who was also Jewish. So they didn't believe that. So Mayor Gordon went to the local police and demanded that they find out where his brother had gone, because effectively his brother was missing. The police apparently were quite reluctant. Superintendent Hitchens, I believe it was, of the police, was quite reluctant to get involved, because at this point there was no evidence to indicate that George Gordon was anything other than off on his own travels at his own will. But Mayor Gordon insisted, so they sent 2 constables to the shop at number 39 Bolton Street in Bury, and they conducted a search and eventually came up with a blood-stained screwdriver, which they decided they had to investigate further. On further investigations, they couldn't find anything, but in the shop present was Mayor Gordon and his father, who had originally owned the shops but handed it all over, and they said, we need to find out where he is. They continued searching the shop and noted that William Dukes, the manager who was present when they were searching, seemed very, very on edge, very nervous. And they then found a section of the shop where there were bloodstains all over the cabinets, and decided that it was getting serious now. They had evidence to show that there'd been some kind of altercation to get the bloodstains there, and William Dukes was saying nothing. They eventually came across a large wardrobe that was locked. This wardrobe they couldn't open, and he said, I haven't got the key, it's with somebody called Mrs. Shorrocks, who's bought a load of stuff in Bury and loaded it into the wardrobe, and she is going to have it delivered later today. And I said, open the wardrobe. He said, I haven't got the key, it's with Mrs. Shorrocks. So the police got a crowbar or whatever it was, and forced to open the wardrobe, and inside the wardrobe was the dead body of George Gordon. When they examined it, the body, he'd been clubbed to death, and inside the wardrobe alongside the dead body was a hammer, and the hammer exactly fitted the damage to the skull of George Gordon, and he'd obviously been beaten to death with the hammer. William Dukes, the store manager, denied any knowledge, was taken to the police station and subsequently interrogated, denied everything, and was taken to Manchester Assizes charged with murder, where he was found guilty and sentenced to death. He was taken to Strangeways prison, where he was subsequently hung by the neck until he was dead, and that was on Tuesday the 24th of December 1889, and the hangman was James Berry, Berry. James Berry was something of a notorious hangman. He had eventually, to his career, he hung 137 inmates, and one of his mistakes he made was he hung a man by the neck at Norwich prison, and a man called Robert Goodale, and he miscalculated the length of drop, and when Robert Goodale was hung, he fell too far and it ripped his head off, and so James Berry eventually decided that this wasn't the career for him, and he resigned and became a touring evangelical preacher. You can imagine that, can't you? Yeah, that's it. He did it all in the name of the Lord. Yeah. So that's a little story today. William Dukes, hung by the neck until he was dead and buried in unconsecrated ground inside Strangeways jail. And as I previously said, if you look at the front of the old gates at the front of the prison, go straight through into the main courtyard, turn right, go up to the top, and on the right hand side there's a grassed area. That is where they buried the dead bodies of the victims of the hangman's noose. That's a little bit of a story about James Berry and one of his the victim of the executioner, the prisoner William Dukes, who was hung by his neck until he was dead at the age of 28. So here we have it. It's that time of day, folks. Yep, that's the Song Dinger, and I've got a request from Sharon. Sharon's requested that I sing this song. It's quite appropriate, really, seeing as this is Tales from the Jails, and I'm going to sing you the song that Sharon requested. It's Elvis Presley's Jailhouse Rock. I hope you're sitting comfortably. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave me some comments down below. That's very good. Jailhouse Rock. The warden threw a party in the county jail. The prison band was there, they began to wail. The band was jumping, the joint began to swing. You should have heard the knocked out jailbird sing, let's rock. Everybody, let's rock. Everybody in the whole cell block dancing to the Jailhouse Rock. Spider Murphy played the tenor saxophone. Little Joe blowing on the slide trombone. The drummer boy from Illinois went crash, boom, bang. The whole rhythm section was the Purple Gang. Let's rock. Everybody, let's rock. Everybody in the whole cell block dancing to the Jailhouse Rock. Number 47 said to number 3, "You're the cutest jailbird I ever did see. I sure will be delighted with your company. Come on and do the Jailhouse Rock with me. Let's rock. Everybody, let's rock. Everybody in the whole cell block dancing to the Jailhouse Rock." Sad sack sitting on a block of stone, way over in the corner weeping all alone. The warden said, "Hey, buddy, don't you be no square. If you can't find a part to use a wooden chair, let's rock. Oh, everybody, let's rock. Everybody in the whole cell block, we're dancing to the Jailhouse Rock." Shifty Henry said to Bugs, "For heaven's sake, no one's looking, let's make a break." Bugsy turned to Shifty and he said, next, "I want to stick around a while and get my kicks, let's rock." Well, everybody, let's rock. Everybody in the whole cell block dancing to the Jailhouse Rock. Well, there you go. I hope you like that, Sharon. I managed to castrate it for you, but I did what I could. Tales from the Jails, John G. Sutton, like and subscribe. Bingo.